Hey folks, Todd here. Today we're going to show you how to install the bed extender from RealTruck on the Mitsubishi Triton L200. The tools we'll be using for this installation are a ratchet with a T20 and T25 Torx bits, a Phillips head screwdriver, a center punch with mallet, a drill with 9/64 drill bit, and I'll also be using a utility knife to modify our bed liner. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, starting off, we're going to install our bed extender brackets to our tailgate pillar. I do want to let you know that this truck has already had a bed extender installed before, so the holes are already there. I'm not going to be able to show you how to install those holes, but I will go over the steps, and I will show you how to adapt your Husky Premium bed liner, if you've got one of those, to the brackets. So starting off, the bracket we have is going to be shaped like so. You've got the 2 holes up top and the 1 hole in the bottom, and then the opening is going to be facing towards the outside of the truck. Next, what we're going to do is go ahead and peel away the liner. We're going to set that off to the side. Now, you can see where holes are, where they've already had this installed. So I'm going to go ahead and peel away our Velcro. If you look at the last page of your instruction sheet, you're going to find a template that you're going to cut out. You're going to use the small or narrow bed, line it up and line up to those holes. Then you're going to tape it in place, use a center punch and a hammer or mallet in each one of the holes, mark it with the center punch, then come back and use a drill and drill bit, 9/64, and drill each one of those holes. Then what you can do is take your bracket with a Phillips head screwdriver and the sheet metal screws and go ahead and line everything up. You'll need to use a lot of force to drive them in because you're going to be cutting some threads with the sheet metal screws. Our threads are already here, so it's going to be a lot easier for us. It's also important to get all 3 screws lined up before you tighten any of them down. That way you don't have any kind of a bind going on. Now you repeat the same process on the opposite side. Next, what I'm going to do is show you how to adjust the Husky Premium bed liner for this piece. So what we're going to do is line this back up to the Velcro or hook and loop fasteners. Pull it nice and tight. Once it's here, we're going to line up where the bracket is, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a relief cut. And this one is the easy one. You want to go a little bit at a time because you don't want to cut too far. But this one is straight across, so it's a lot easier to make that cut. When you get to the corner, go ahead and round around. And then it's going to come down at an angle. So we're going to follow that angle. And next, I'm going to use some leftover Velcro from our Husky Premium bed liner kit. There we have it. Looks great. Let's go ahead and repeat the same process on the opposite side. Then we can assemble the bed extender. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to take the bent tubes in our kit and we're going to mark them. So I've got a tape measure. We're going to draw this out to 7 inches or roughly 18 centimeters. And at the 7-inch or 18 centimeter mark, we're going to take and place some tape and go around. We're going to make that mark at 7 inches on each one. I've already gone ahead and done the others, but we want to make sure that is 7 inches up to the tape mark. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our pivot assemblies and we're going to start inserting the tubes into the pivot assembly. Those are going to telescope into it. And we just want to get it kind of close to the tape mark. Not all the way to the tape mark. That's not necessary. The tape mark is just used as a reference point. But we do want to get them even with each other. And if you have a hard time getting them to slide in to the tubes, you can also use a little bit of soapy water to kind of help to lubricate. All right, let's go ahead and take this assembly over to the truck bed. All right, next what we're going to do is set this in the bed of the truck, and we're going to adjust the width to match the width of the inside of the bed of the truck. We'll also use a tape measure to make sure the distance from our assembly to the tape lines are even on both sides. All right, once we get it nice and close, we're going to go ahead and set it into the brackets. To let it drop down into the brackets, we're going to bring it up to 45-degree angle. That way it can drop down to the brackets. And now we can finish adjusting everything side to side. All right, next we're going to go ahead and install our bumpers. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and rotate that in because I have to put the screws in from the back side. I want you guys to be able to see what we're doing. All right, next what we're going to do is take our bumpers apart. And then we're going to notice we've got the ribs inside the bumpers are narrower on one side and wider on the other side. So we want to make sure we're matched up properly to where the seam is. All right, and bring the other side in, push them together. And now we can go ahead and start inserting our hardware. We're going to use a T25 Torx bit with the included hardware. Just gets that started in place for right now. All right, now that we've got everything lined up, we're going to go ahead and snug everything down. Then we can remove the tape, repeat the same process for the opposite side. Okay, now what we're going to do next is we're going to adjust for our barrel that attaches to our latch mechanism on the tailgate. Now, this is going to come with the largest size barrel already installed, but there are other barrels that will fit on there. So for this particular application, it requires a different barrel. So we're going to use another barrel. Make sure you select the barrel that fits your application. We're going to go ahead and pull this off using a T20 Torx bit. All right, and the Torx bit we're going to be using to replace this with is a T25. Set that in place, get it lined up by hand first, and we can go ahead and snug it up with the T25. Well, that concludes the installation. Now I can have an extender for my bed, or I can rotate it inside and have a cage to contain my cargo.